Hello everyone, MFPallytime here. Welcome back to Heroes of the Storm. In today's video, we're taking a look at Leoric in our A through Z playthrough. He was released on July 21st in 2015. Him, along with Johanna, were so good at clearing out minions that they are the reason that we have the monster enemy classification. Minions, monsters, and mercenaries. Basically, he could just cleave them down without a second thought, without any hesitation whatsoever, and just completely clear the lane. Made him, along with Johanna, pretty much mandatory picks on maps like the Infernal Shrines, until the monster classification was added. Now, he did get a rework in 2017, but we covered that last year. That was another rework I got the chance to show off at Gamescom, and actually really enjoyed. I thought it was fantastic. Now, as far as balance changes to Leoric in this past year, the only real one we have is that his Entomb cooldown was taken from a 75-second cooldown all the way down to a 50-second cooldown throughout 2018. And that is about it. But there is a long list of absolutely ridiculous bugs that happened. Just crazy. So Leoric's Entomb was generating somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 scrap for Gazlo to pick up every time he used it. This was also at Gamescom 2017 and was not fixed when the rework was released. So Gazlo could basically just wait for the Entomb to happen, pick up 25 fucking pieces of scrap, and then not have cooldowns for the next 2 minutes. Hey, guess what has less than 2-minute cooldown? Entomb! It was oppressive. It was ridiculous. Just insane. Then we have here, fix an issue that could cause Leoric to become invisible after exiting Zagara's Maw. Percentage damage dealt by Spectral Leech talent will now properly count as ability damage rather than basic attack damage. So if you had block, you could block his W ability, which is just weird. Fix an issue causing enemy heroes affected by Leoric's Entomb ability to lose vision if he had buried alive. So he would not only silence, but he would isolate everyone that was inside of the buried alive. Now, I don't know if that happened after the effect wore off, or if they were just blind while they were in there. But once again, how do you get those wires crossed? Fix an issue causing towers to spawn. I'm going to read that slower. Fixed an issue that would cause towers to spawn if Hanzo hit Leoric with the dragon arrow. Just hit Leoric with a dragon arrow and a fucking building comes out of the ground. How? Concussive Mine, which is the satchel charge from Junkrat that I kept calling the wrong thing, will no longer knock Leoric away from the starting point when Wraithwalk ends. So he will rubber band you back and still launch you away for some reason. Let's see. Leoric will no longer become permanently unstoppable if he was affected by a stasis during his Wraithwalk. A permanent cleanse all the time. And then last, but certainly the most impactful, they lowered the sound of his basic attacks because it was too oppressive. All shall suffer. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves on Warhead Junction today. The friendly team, Leoric, Zagara, Diva, Abathur, and Urel. The enemy team, Abathur, Anubarak, Sonya, Alarak, and Sylvanas. Weird team. It's a weird fucking team. Usually with the, I haven't seen a double Abathur game in ages. Well, the reason that happens is because Abathur is classified as a support character. Neither of them went for the heal. Fucking gentlemen and scholars. They're both classified as support characters, or sustained characters. And the rules dictate that if one team has a sustained character and no other, what fucking talented, I think. A sustained character and no other supports, then both teams have to have that sustained character. Alright, I meant to go for Ocean Renewal. I didn't do that. So this will be fun. Get out of here! Wait, why was that your plan? That doesn't seem like a good plan. Now, apparently, when Leoric came out, I was out of town, but people were just dying. People were literally walking into buildings thinking that the best way to play Leoric was to face plant against an obstacle and never leave because his trait allows him to turn into a spooky ghost and walk around for a little while. Now, you and I, intelligent people on the internet, obviously know that that is not the way to play him, but that still happens to this day. Usually, if you have someone that's feeding on your team, it's a Murky or it's a Leoric, and unfortunately, it's a little bit more impactful when it's a Leoric. Now, Murky, when he dies, gives the enemy team 0.25% XP. When Leoric dies, he gives them a full fucking death. Hey, you type into your team about dying? Did you almost let me Wraith Walk you or Creepy Hand you? I don't know what any of his abilities are called. All right, I'm just going in and I'm trading. You come here. So, I don't know if this first talent we have is actually any good at all. Like I said, I did not mean to pick it up. But we seem to be stuck with it now, so I think at level 4, I'm going to go for Kneel Peasants. This is going to allow me to push the lane a little bit easier, especially against a character like Sylvanas. We want to clear it out as fast as we can. Basically, it just increases our damage to minions, monsters, and mercenaries, harkening back to his original release, which I think is pretty cool, and allows us to move the wave a little bit easier. Now, the off-lane setup for Leoric is actually weird because these days you're not really incentivized to push the lane too much. Oftentimes, as the off-lane character, your job is to simply accumulate XP and not die. Well, he can die, and it's not too big of a deal. And he could clear a lane, which you don't really do anymore. So it's kind of weird, So, Sweeping Strike is our Q. It's the big AoE. We go in, we Q, stuff dies. Our W ability is the Creepy Hand. It's also called Drain Hope, for those of you that are so inclined to actually call things by their actual name. And this allows us to siphon life from an adversary once we attach the Creepy Hand onto them. Our E ability is the Spectral Walk. Yeah, just go. Okay. I'll just start fucking channeling this then. Get out of here. Shoot some more banshees at me. I don't like that she has vision. Can I just say that? Yeah, I'll just clear the lane really fast. We have a sippy cup, so I can just grab that, grab this regen globe, and nothing bad will happen, I'm sure. No! Not today! Not today! I'm just gonna be kited this whole time, huh? This is what this fucking game's gonna be, huh? I'm just gonna be kited. You can tell me. It's okay, I'm a big boy, I can take it. So she's gonna come. Actually, I'm just gonna clear the lane. Hold on. Grab 2 regen globes. Go back at it. The standard pick here is to pick up the increased range on Drain Hope because it allows you to obviously hit people a little bit easier. The skill shot range of Drain Hope is not too far, so it can be useful. God, I just want to fucking get the bomb! I'm thinking versus this girl, though, we gonna be picking up this movement speed increase? Because I want to go fast. So, if we actually ever do attach our W to her... Oh my god. We're going to get a movement speed increase that allows us to stick to targets a little bit easier. Again, the standard pick here is the Hope range increase, just so everyone knows. Double nukes up top, I do like that! I do like that. Let's go ahead and just cleave this lane down a little bit. One really cool thing that I like, and I talked about it plenty at the time, so it shouldn't be new to you if you followed the videos for any time period. I really enjoy the fact that Leoric has not only alternating auto attack animations, but those animations have different effects on the battleground as well. I thought for sure she was engaging on that. So he does a alternating 3 different attacks. One's a sweep to the side, the other one's a sweep to the other side, and then he just hammers down on one target. The 2 sweeps are actually cleaves. So he has a cleaving auto attack without having to pick up talents for that. And then the single target one does critical hit damage, which is really, really cool. I like that quite a bit. We're going to be rejoining Sylvanas up here. Hey, baby girl, go ahead and leave. What a boring lane. Holy shit. Now, we could pick up Entomb here, which is the go-to, and Entomb has been buffed by having its cooldown reduced by a pretty considerable amount. But with the amount of frontline that this enemy team has, and the fact that they're already doing really poorly, and let's be honest, Sonya can get out of it. Leoric can't really get out of it. He would struggle. Abathur's never going to be in it, and Sylvanas can get out of it. I'm going to go for March of the Black King, which is on a 50-second cooldown, and this bad boy is going to be giving us health back, 12% of his maximum health every time we hit an enemy with it. So it should increase our sustain. Now, are we ever going to be able to hit Sylvanas with this? Absolutely not. No way. By the way, in the bottom lane, we're just winning. I should probably go down there. I'm gonna get this building first, because I've been fighting real hard for this building this whole time. This team is just dominating, though. Meanwhile, Sylvanas was getting that camp for like the past 25 minutes. Don't offlane if you're Sylvanas! And don't get camps by yourself! It's a waste of your fucking time! Oh, was it you, mister? Was it you? Now, the one good thing about having the movement speed increase with the creepy hand is it does allow me to keep up with targets while that ability is out. Normally we get slowed by what, 20%? 20%. But this gives us a 30% increased movement speed. So we actually move faster than what our adversaries are able to move. I should clear top and then come down. I was just kind of walking around, being real dumb. Get out of here! Oh, it hit. Not that it matters. All right, we'll just clear the lane real fast. We do have a sippy cup again. Is she gonna engage? It's a 3v fucking whatever down there, and we're still winning! Now, she did manage to kill me there, as you can see, but because we're Leoric, we just kind of roam around as a spirit now. If we land our W on enemies, we're going to be siphoning life from them, which allows us to resurrect a little bit faster. And if we land our Q on them, it does slow them as well. But we can hearth if we wanted to. We can go back, but we never have to leave. We can just keep hanging out, keep doing whatever on the map for as long as we want to. One cool thing I really like about his rework is that there are talents that allow him to greatly benefit from wraith walking onto enemy combatants. So we are actually able to reduce damage considerably from an enemy team if, well, all right, this is awkward. Abathur, run! We're able to reduce their damage considerably if we go for Empower Wraithwalk here, Ominous Wraith, as well as our level 16 talent, which allows us to lower our cooldown, right? No, Wraithwalk increases damage of the next skeletal swing. Oh, okay. We do see a trade with Sylvanas versus Ariel in the top lane. That's probably not going to go too well for Sylvanas, and I'm just trying to see where the wind takes me. Leoric and Sonya both down here on the bottom side of the map. We do have a Wraithwalk up in just a moment. It's very likely that Sonya's moving in for this camp. We're once again just going to attach the creepy hand to her and walk with her. We do miss our skeletal swing, but it's not that big of a deal. We're just going to sit here and keep fucking landing these auto attacks, boys! Never mind. Never mind, she's got to walk away. I do believe there's a draining mechanic. His last attack is overhead and deals 100% additional single target damage. Okay, so we don't have a healing on our auto attack. I guess it's a talent at level 20, Spectral Leech, that I like quite a bit. Now, at level 16, I've kind of deviated from what the popular build is at this point. Most people would go for either the Ominous Wraith here or the range here. But giving us armor is really, really nice at level 13. Now, at level 16, I like the Mithril Mace, because if we're clearing lanes, which, I mean, I feel like I've been doing a kind of okay job at clearing lanes so far. Nothing crazy. Unfortunately, I just spend most of the early game just going up against the Sylvanas, who can't push by herself. But as we kill minions, it's going to slowly increase our attack speed. And if we're able to farm this up, I think we get a 30% increase on our attack speed, which Leoric's attack speed is pretty slow, and it does a lot of fancy stuff. So if we can increase the speed of that and increase the amount of, the amount of uptime on our fancy stuff, then I think that's a win-win. Now, an Uberak trying to trade into me there, but we had the creepy hand attached to him, so you can see we won that trade. It was pretty fucking one-sided. He's going to go ahead and use the cocoon on me, which makes me think that he completely overreacted to that particular altercation. And it looks like he is going to be dipping back into his base. There is a nuke down in the bottom lane, so I'm going to head down to that and try to pick that up. The bottom keep for the enemy team has been completely annihilated. I'm not really sure what's happening in this particular game, to be honest with you. We've just kind of been winning, and I haven't really had to try that hard, unfortunately. I guess I'll go... top? Go help her. Let's go help her. We just traded 1v3, and I don't even know how. Hey, bud. Hey, get out of here! Okay. Just gonna nuke this. Act like nothing's wrong, because nothing is wrong. And then we'll pick up this as well. No, we're gonna be interrupted by some Abathur stuff. Get out of here! Now, unfortunately, the creepy hand only attached for a second there, which is never ideal. We're gonna go ahead and Wraith Walk into these guys. Deal a pretty good amount of damage. Or excuse me, Wraith Walk is the creepy walk. What we did was March of the Black King into those guys. We're going to try and just burst down that Sylvanas that moved way too far forward. Now, I can go ahead and cleave these guys with our level 1 talent, hopefully get some health back. Not quite enough to stay alive, but at the end of the day, we're Leoric, so it doesn't really matter, probably not. We are doing core damage down to the bottom lane, and it looks like we are going to be able to grab that nuke, no problem. Go ahead and scout this out for the home team. I also need to attach my W to something so I can resurrect a little bit faster. Now we are getting credit for our kill minions level 16 quest just by being near minions that die. We don't have to be the person that kills them. So even as a ghost, if we're just near minions as they fall, we are getting credit for that. Which is fucking bullshit, honestly. Now, at level 20, we can pick up the Spectral Leech. Basic attacks deal extra damage and heal. So, basically, these guys aren't going to know what hit them, but it's me. I'm what hit him. Sonya is spinning and trying to win. Oh, you're bringing in more Sonyas for me to hit. Thank you. Hold on, we'll just turn this way. Attach the creepy hand to something, it doesn't matter what. Land our Qs. No, you come back here! Keep in mind, we don't have a fucking healer on this team, and we just did that much to self-sustain. All self-sustain. Abathur's not healing with his top hat. Fucking ridiculous. Now, if you're having trouble landing your Ws, your Q does apply as slow, so if you can get close enough to your target and just hit him with the Q, landing the W does become significantly easier. That being said, this game is just a clusterfuck. Looks like we are dropping a nuke on the enemy team's core right now. Not looking too good for them as they're going down to 74%. I just wanted to grab a nuke, boys. I just wanted to go nuke them some more.
Form an orderly line for collection at your convenience.
You know, the YouTube algorithm actually listens to what you're saying, just like Instagram does when you have Instagram on your phone. Instagram uses it to target ads, but YouTube uses it to, I guess, target ads as well, but also target demonetization. So I'm feeling pretty confident with the fact that I've said I'm going to nuke these guys a whole hell of a lot, that this video is going to go great. We are trading pretty favorably here. We're just going to Wraith Walk through these guys, do a bunch of damage to this Leoric, and continue to just right-click and win with our dumbass Leoric auto-attack build on top of the enemy team Sonya. Now, don't get me wrong, this monstrosity was there, and it was doing a lot of damage because I think that monstrosity has been alive for the past 12 minutes. But definitely a fucking one-sided game here, boys. But I hope you learned a little bit about Leoric. You know, it's becoming more and more common that characters have not really been changed in the past year, but the just fucking sheer amount of amazingly weird and obscure and game-breaking bugs that Leoric had was just fucking fascinating to me. He is a pretty strong offlaner if you ever want to pick him up, and he is great at just pushing in versus enemy teams. If he dies, it's not that big of a deal. You just resurrect a few seconds later, and you keep on keeping on. That's Leoric, everybody. Up next, without looking, we're taking a look at Lily, right? And then Li Ming, and then not the Lost Vikings, because that's a T. That goes down here. Take care, everybody. See you next time.